And that's why you should never run with O. And so this would be Tuesday, October 15th. We're going to take a look at our final poems, Richard, Cory, and Particle Man. Prior to that, I want to go through and get a chance to explain the Charger Challenge. There we go. What the Charger Challenge is, it's a competition between the 3 teams here at the junior high. A competition between the Heroes, the Globetrotters, and the Stars, so that we can figure out which team is the best. Essentially, it's a throwdown Olympics. Each team can nominate 15 kids to participate in it. And then the way the actual thing goes through and we do it, there are different events slash activities that we end up doing. One of them is a hula hoop race, which does not involve hula hooping at all. It involves a hula hoop and 15 kids that get into a circle and you hold hands and you have to race how fast you can get the hula hoop around the circle without anyone ever letting go of hands. There's another one that is a math kind of numbers puzzle race, and so you have to be able to figure out, you have to be able to run and figure out numbers and puzzles and thinking and running at the same time. Makes your brain melt. And there's another activity that's just word puzzles, and it doesn't require any running. It's just being able to figure out puzzles that you see, like the different visual kind of puzzles to do from there. There's one that's a basketball shooting one that has like a moving goal that you have to try and hit. There's colonial dodgeball, which is each team has 5 kids that line up and face each other, but you can't move your feet when you throw the balls back and forth. And then you choose which one of those activities you want to do. So if you're more of the athletic-y person, then you do the sporty ones. If you're more of the, I just want to think, then you do the ones that require more of the thinking. So it's up to you, and you choose the activity that works best. And then it ends with a trivia competition. You earn points that all build up to the trivia, and then the trivia is where you get your final points. The trivia questions don't just come from school, they come from the questions that I write up, Mr. Sturgeon, Mr. Jansen, Mr. Stump, and they can come from like NFL trivia questions. We'll have ones about TV shows. We'll have ones for songs where we'll play like contemporary music. I give you the lyrics for Katy Perry or something like that. You'll figure out who the singer of it is. We'll do ones for the TV shows, and you'll figure out, we'll give you the characters in the show, it tells who it is. Some of them will be questions as far as grammar. It just sort of depends. And so you're going to have all of these different questions. Whichever team ends with the most points wins. What do you win? A whole bunch of stuff. One, we get house points. It's like 30 house points. It's a ton, which would be enough to bump pretty much any team up into first place. It'll also give you the a button that you can only get for winning the Charger Challenge. There's only 60 of them made each year, and if you win, you get that button. You also get 10 B points that I give you for being on the winning team. I take a picture of you, and you get your picture behind my desk. It's that little one that's right above a little yellow sticker. That's a picture of last year's winning team, and so you get your picture behind my desk. I also put your picture on the giant trophy, and we get a giant trophy with your picture on it. Then you also get your name up in the hallway across from Coach Stump and Mr. Jansen and Modulin. There's a wall of Charger Challenge winners, and you get your name posted up there. In order to do it, you can sign up, but you could not have had a D or an F in any of your classes the first 9 weeks. As long as you didn't have a D or an F, then you're welcome to sign up for it. It's the first 14 kids that sign up after 2:45 today. You can either go and contact your parents, or you can send me an email about it. But essentially, there is no permission slip. It's just a matter of you being responsible enough to go talk to your parents, finding out that you can do it. Then send me an email or come in and talk to me and saying, hey, I want to do the Charger Challenge. I can get picked up. If you back out, say, hey, I can't do it after I've already written you down, it does cost you B points. So make sure you can do it before you sign up. How quickly do the spots fill up? Depends every year. Last year, all my spots would fill up before first period the next day. Usually kids would come right after school and start signing up, or they would send me emails at night. In the past, we've had years that the kids are bigger losers, and we've not even had a full team. All the way up to the day of the thing, we only had like 10 kids that signed up. It just depends. I don't know what your guys' loserosity level is yet. We'll find out as we get closer. When is it? Monday of next week. For those of you doing football, you're out of luck. Football just keeps going and going, so we couldn't do it during football season. We couldn't avoid football season. So if you do football, we couldn't do much about that one. Everyone else, though, it'll be right after school. We head down to the cafeteria, and it goes until 4:45 p.m. And then you're good to go from there. Lindsay,
For the C- or higher, does midterm count?
It's whatever you got on your first 9 weeks grade.
Oh,
So whatever comes out on that little report card.
okay.
Question? No. Lolo?
What happens if you say you can do it, but then you're absent for like being sick?
If you're sick, that's fine. What happens is, if you just don't show up, I charge you B points. Like you forget and go on the bus, then it costs you B points because then I'm without a person. But we do have spectators. Once my 14 spots fill up, then I take up to 10 spectators. And what we'll do is I fill the 15th spot with one of the spectators, one of the kids that just shows up. But we can't have more than 10 kids who get to just show up and watch either. So if you're wanting to spectate and watch, then you're more than welcome to sign up for that. And that starts, the sign up for that starts at 2:45 today, because that gives my 7th period a chance to hear the same thing. And then if you know you can get picked up and get a ride, come back and see me, and then you can sign up and you'll be good to go. That's the Charger Challenge. It's a pretty big competition here between the 3 teams and the throwdown and fun and stuff like that.
Trade people.
And that's where the trading comes in. It's if we win, then what happens is it depends on by how much of the majority we win by. I'm allowed, but I'm the one that usually controls it, to give up a certain number of hero students that we think are not beneficial to the team, that are holding us back, kids that make poor choices. We give them to another team, like the Globetrotters or the Stars, and then I get to pick kids from that team and bring them here. So then I would get to then pick like a smart Globetrotter and bring them over to our team, or a smart Star and bring them to our team. If we lose, it's just the opposite. If we lose, then I have to give up good heroes, and I have to take on not so good Globetrotters or Stars, which is why we push for the whole winning thing.
Oh no!
So that's why, Mr. Brovicast, am I a kid you would trade? Well, it's pretty easy to figure out. Do I yell at you? Do you make poor choices? Do you get detentions? Then that would be on the list of the kids that are probably going to be traded. If you don't, then you'd probably not be on the list. I might want. Now, also, if you're a really good kid, then you also have to worry about the Globetrotters and the Stars coming over and trying to steal you. So it's a matter of making sure that they don't know you're a good kid. So you have to keep it on the down low. So there's also that. I just don't try to build that up because it seems to freak kids out. Low.
So you mean that we can go up to Mr. Stump and...
You can, but then you'd also get ISR and probably kicked off the team. So that I wouldn't do so well either. That might be a bit extreme.
What's ISR?
In-school reassignment. It's like the in-school detention. We have to sit in a little room and they beat you with a whip or something like that.
Wait, why would we get that?
Because you punched the teacher.
Oh.
They frown on that. Plus, he'd probably punch you back, and he's not a good guy.
That's not fair.
You punched him first.
So?
That's about as fair gets.
That's self-defense.
Alright, now for our poem for today. Go ahead, don't worry about this, put all the papers off to the side, we're just going to deal with it up here. You're going to need the papers for the next poem that we get to. We're going to take a look at Richard Cory. This one and the poem we do next, both of them deal really well with junior high. But they aren't going to look like it. As you read, you're like, this one has nothing to do with junior high. Have faith. They're both great metaphors for what happens in junior high life. It just requires a little bit of thinking to get you there. So we're going to read the first 2 stanzas here, and then see if you can figure out what's going on in those first 2 stanzas. Sure. Schultz, I'll have you read stanza number 1. And Christy, I'll have you read stanza number 2.
Yes.
Go for it.
Whenever Richard Cory went downtown, people on the pavement, looked at him. He was a gentleman from soul to crown, clean favored and imperially slim.
And he was always quietly arrayed, and he was always human when he talked, but still he fluttered pulses when he said good morning, and he glittered when he walked.
So we're going to figure out who the main character is. We have one main character, and we're going to figure out what they're saying about him. So you have, whenever Richard Cory went downtown, we people on the pavement looked at him. He was a gentleman from soul to crown, clean favored and imperially slim. And he was always quietly arrayed, and he was always human when he talked. But still he fluttered pulses when he said good morning, and he glittered when he walked. Well, first, baby steps. Frash, who is our main character?
A butterfly?
A butterfly. No. But you got that from the fluttering. But there's only one name used in the poem. Nicely done. So we have Richard Cory, who is this person that they're describing, who's apparently walking. Richard Cory. Richard Cory. Richard Cory walking around, and then they talk about him being a gentleman from soul to crown. Well, it's another name for a saying we already know, but just baby step it. Crown. You guys know what part of your body the crown is? Point to it. Nicely done. It's the top of your head. Where the hair sprouts out, that's your crown. Soul, S-O-L-E. Not S-O-U-L, like my soul is a dark shriveled place, but S-O-L-E. And where on your body is your soul? Point to
Your
it.
foot.
Nicely done. So when they say that he's a gentleman from head to crown, what's the more common way of saying that?
Soul.
Soul to crown.
No.
Head to toe.
Nicely done, Valerie. Saying he's a gentleman from head to toe.
You said head to crown.
Oh, I apologize. From soul to crown, meaning from head to toe. He's a nice guy all around. The one where it says clean favored, that deals with his reputation, at least his reputation around town. So what kind of reputation would he have if they're saying he's clean favored? Lolo?
He's he doesn't do anything bad.
Nicely done. That there's no rumors floating out around there that he doesn't do anything bad. You never hear people going, hey, have you heard what Richard Cory did? No, what did he do? Well, I heard that. It doesn't happen. Like, have you heard of Richard Cory? Yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah, I thought the same thing. And that's all you pretty much hear about, the fact that he just has this really easy, clean reputation. Imperially slim. Do you guys know what it means to be slim? That's the first step. That's why he's down to one more, and then he start losing points. Freeman? Nice, but it needs to be skinny. Now the trick here is that his skinny is a little bit different. When they say imperially slim, the poem was set during the Great Depression, back in the 1930s. During that time period, a lot of people were thin, but not by choice. Why were people thin, not by choice, during the Great Depression in the 30s? Fresh?
They didn't have much money.
Nicely done. They didn't have much money, so they couldn't afford food. So a lot of people were scary thin and looking all skeleton-y because they were poor. That's not his issue. With the imperially slim, it means the fact that he has money, he just chooses to be slim. The fact that he's basically in really good shape. So the fact that he has money but chooses to just eat well. Yeah.
Does it look like that?
Probably the ones that didn't have money? Yes. The next stanza, when it says he was quietly arrayed. Quietly arrayed. On that one, arrayed is what you're wearing, your clothing. Many of you are arrayed in pink today for the game, which is very impressive. Nicely done. Some of you guys are losers and didn't. That's a whole different story. So my question is, for the poem, when it says that he's quietly arrayed, meaning he has quiet clothing, how does one have quiet clothing? It means he's not wearing bells. No, but a good guess. Delucia?
They're like dark colors, not bright colors.
Nicely done. The fact that he's not trying to stand out. The fact that he's not bringing attention to himself. So, stuff like gold chains and bling and stuff like that, he's not making any use of. He's just trying to dress as normal as possible. So, no bling, no standing out, nothing along those lines. And he's always human when he talks, is how he deals with other people. Does it mean he's a robot? No. It has nothing to do with him being a robot. It's just sort of how he interacts with others. Matt Rat?
He doesn't talk like slang or.
Not bad. Not quite, but not a bad guess. I like you're going with it. Joshua?
Kind of like this. Is hello, my name is Joshua Andes. How are you today?
Not bad. He treats them like a normal person. That all these other people he goes across, he doesn't get attitude. He doesn't act like he's all that in a bag of chips. He basically tries to be as nice as possible. So as he was human when he talked, he treated you like you were a normal person. The part that threw Frash off with our fluttered pulses, this is how the chicks react whenever he comes by and says hello to them. And how do the chicks react when he comes by and gives a little, how you doing in the morning? Freebie?
They like start flipping out and start fangirling.
Nicely done. I like the flipping out and the fangirling going all one direction on him. So all he does is he walks by and is like, hey, how you doing? Like, oh, woo, and they get all giggly, and the little hand flapping comes out and stuff like that. All from him just coming by, saying good morning, they just get all giggly and the tither. And it says, he glittered when he walked. Well, Mr. Brovicast, you said he's not wearing any shiny clothing because he's quietly arrayed. Well, then how can he be quietly arrayed and yet still glitter when he walks? How can you have those two things happening at the same time? Schultz?
I don't want to say it because
Good choice. Lolo?
He walks with pride.
Not bad. Same idea. Lexi?
A lot of people know him.
Not bad either. In fact, a lot of people would know. Creepy?
He's a vampire?
Yeah, because he's a vampire. Not bad guess though. Yes?
That's what I was going to say.
Here's that. When he played, he, I don't know.
His belt.
Joey? I like it. Nicely done, Joey. The Orbit commercial, the whole ding and the sparkling, the fact that people are all attracted to him, the fact that even wearing quiet clothing, people just notice him. He's got the nice, shiny, clean skin, the big sparkly smile, not a grill, just a big, sparkly smile. Everyone notices him. His personality's outgoing. He's hard to miss. That's that general glitteriness when he walks. He's got Twilight vampire without being a vampire. You just sort of notice him and smile. In the next part, we're going to find out more information about him. And he was rich, yes, richer than a king, and admirably schooled in every grace. And when, in fine, we thought that he was everything to make us wish that we were in his place. We find out two more things about him. And what do we find out about him, Linsane? In that next stanza. Come back to you. Davies,
He was rich,
how rich?
very rich,
Nice. Is that a lot of rich or a little rich?
richer than a king.
That'd probably be a lot. That'd be a lot of rich. So the fact that he's rich, it makes it rain just walking around, just walking down the street, money flying everywhere. Free H?
What's that, like, speaker thing right there?
That's a stupid thing right
No,
there.
that-
Yes.
For the other one,
Uh-huh.
the school,
Uh-huh.
he went to school, like a very good school.
You're on the right track.
At Harvard.
When it says he's, oh, here's my rich. Whee! The admirably schooled in every grace is the idea. Lolo,
I know it.
go ahead.
It means that he's good in every subject.
Nicely done. The fact that not only does he go to the good schools, but the fact that he's good at everything he does. Whether it's English, he gets good grades. Math, he gets good grades. Then it goes beyond that. If you decide to go out and play basketball with him, he can dunk on you and he can shoot the three-point outside shot. And then he goes ahead and is like, oh, let's play chess. He's like, dunk, 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 chessmate, serve. It's no matter what you choose to do, he's good at it. So that's, oh, speaking of which, that brings us to our next two lines. When it says, in fine, we thought that he was everything to make us wish that we were in his place. It's like we just read a poem with angels, and they felt this way about a girl and a guy, and that same idea was being connected in the thinking. And what Lynn's saying, what poem was that?
Annabelle Lee.
Annabelle Lee. What emotion did the angels feel towards Annabelle Lee and Dude in that one? Baker?
Jealous.
Nicely. Same thing we have here. The fact that they have this, the people around him all feel jealous of him. Which leads to an interesting conclusion. So on we worked and waited for the light and went without the meat and cursed the bread. And Richard Cory, one calm summer night, went home and put a bullet through his head.
What?
Exactly.
What? He committed suicide?
What are you talking about? So
What
Lucia, what do we find out happens at the end?
He committed suicide.
He commits suicide.
Mr. Wozniak, why would that happen?
Good question.
Why would you connect this to junior high?
Hang on. Here's the reason being. It's not for why he commits suicide. It's not what we find out in the poem. It's for what we don't find out in the poem. There are very specific things that are left out in the poem that we don't find out about him that would lead to why he has the suicide. Crash?
Why he, like, so sad that he committed suicide?
Did it talk about him being happy in the poem?
Yeah.
Where?
Oh. It
No.
never told us any emotions.
Oh, he could be bullied.
Nicely done. It never once talks about him being happy or emotions or anything like that. Agent?
That escalated very quickly.
It did. I know. Chrissy?
I have two things.
Uh-huh.
That guy over there smiling.
Uh-huh.
So like he said that shows no emotion. Well, that guy's.
Is that in the poem? Or that's my random picture?
And the other one is
Uh-huh.
he might not have a family.
Nicely done. Does it mention family?
No,
Does it mention friends?
no.
So what you have, the only things we know about him is the fact that he's good looking, the fact that he has a lot of money, the fact that he's good at a lot of the stuff he does, but never once says anything about him having friends. Never once says anything about him having family. For all we know, his home life is horrible. It never says anything about him being happy. It just says he has everything going for him. It turns out there's another poem I had you guys read earlier that goes along the same idea, about the idea that just because you're popular or have everything going for you, it doesn't mean life is perfect. And what other poem did you guys have to read that
And
followed
Josh?
the same?
I'm nobody.
Little
Nicely
things.
done. I'm nobody. It says I'm nobody. So that same idea that just because you have everything going for you doesn't mean life is perfect. Same thing in this poem.
Mr. Brovicast, why did you say this is good for junior high?
It is. I think this poem is a big metaphor for junior high. Not the killing yourself at the end, but the reason behind the killing of yourself at the end. And it connects the idea that in the junior high life, you guys do a lot of judging other people without knowing anything about them. You just look at someone and think the fact that because they're popular, their life has to be perfect. Because they come from a nice home, the fact that they have a lot of nice clothes, that everything has to be going their way. And that's not the way life works. I have a lot of kids, especially in the 8th grade, after they spend an entire year in my room, that come back and use me after school to come and talk. And they come and share a lot of stuff that happens in their lives. And what finds interesting is the fact that a lot of these kids that come back to talk to me are the ones that seem to have the perfect life, but are incredibly unhappy. The fact that they're a top cheerleader, and the fact that they live in nice neighborhoods, but their parents are never home, and they don't feel they have any friends. And so it's this idea that you can't just judge people on the top layer. You have to actually look a little bit deeper, which is what you have here. It's the same thing these people did, or the same thing that you guys do. It's just you judge people on the outside without looking any deeper. That's why I like the poem. Now, let's look at another poem. This one, even more with junior high life, although also even more confusing. But once we go through it, it becomes really, really easy and fun. Particle Man is going to deal with 4 characters. Each character is a metaphor for a type of student here at school. We have to figure out what type of character it's a metaphor for. So we're going to break it into 3 sections if you want to read, and then that'll be fine with me as we go through. Bowron, I'll have you read the first 3 stanzas. 1, 2, 3. Lake, we'll do the second stanza. Next two would be stanzas 4 and 5, and then stanzas 6. Make up 6, 7, and 8. We'll go with agent.
Yeah.
All right. This one you can go ahead and get your paper out and read, or I'll flip them through up there. I'm happy either way. I didn't want you to read the last one because I didn't want you to read ahead and find out how it ended. All right, go ahead for the very beginning.
Particle Man, doing the things that particle can. What's his life? It's not important, Particle Man. Is he a dot or is he a speck? When he's underwater, does he get wet or does the water get him instead? Nobody knows, Particle Man. Triangle Man, Triangle Man, Triangle Man hates Particle Man. They have a fight, Triangle wins, Triangle Man.
Yes.
Universe Man, size of the entire universe man, usually kind of smaller man, universe man, he's got a watch
One moment. Keep going.
with a minute hand,
Yes,
million
I do.
man, had,
Not a problem.
and beyond hand, when they meet, it's a happy land, powerful man, universe man.
Nice one. The last section.
Person man, hits the head with a frying pan. Lives his life in a garbage can. Person man. Is he depressed or is he a mess? Does he feel totally worthless? Who came up with the person man? Degraded man, person man. Triangle man, triangle man hates person man. They have a right triangle man, triangle man.
Nice one. I'll read through it real quick, just to give you the whole consistency thing, and I'll see if you can figure out who the 4 characters are and who they're a metaphor for, who they're supposed to represent here at school. Particle Man, doing the things a particle can. What's he like? It's not important, Particle Man. Is he a dot? Is he a speck? If he's underwater, does he get wet, or does the water get him instead? Nobody knows, Particle Man. Triangle Man, Triangle Man. Triangle Man hates Particle Man. They have a fight. Triangle wins. Triangle Man. Universe Man, size of the entire universe man. Usually kind to smaller man. Universe Man. He's got a watch with a minute hand, millennium hand, and an eon hand. When they meet, it's a happy land. Powerful man. Universe Man. Person man. Hit on the head with a frying pan. Lives his life in a garbage can. Person man. Is he depressed or is he a mess? Does he feel totally worthless? Who came up with Person Man? Degraded man, Person Man. Triangle Man, Triangle Man, Triangle Man hates Person Man. They have a fight. Triangle wins. Triangle Man. The first one, Triangle Man. That's probably the easiest one to figure out. And what type of character is that a metaphor for?
It's like a doctor.
Christy?
Killer.
Nice one. And why do you say he's a bully?
Because he fights.
Can he
Nice
be,
one. Constantly gets
can
into
he be a
fights.
killer?
What's that?
Can he be a killer? Can he kill?
Good, but it doesn't connect to junior high as much. Hopefully we have very few killers here in junior high. At least as far as I know. So Triangle Man becomes the kid that talks a lot in class and loses. Oh wait, no, that was a different one. Triangle Man becomes the metaphor for the bully, the one that goes around beating up others. He beats up two different characters in the poem. Who are the two characters he beats up in the poem? Castro
Particle Man,
and
Person Man.
nice one. And they are metaphors for kids here too. Particle Man. What kind of student or what kind of kid is Particle Man supposed to be? Delucia?
A small kid.
That's one of them. It's supposed to be a metaphor for two types. One is a small kid, because a particle is a small thing. And then there's another way of looking at it aside from size, but both of them work. Lake?
Like a wimp.
Not bad. It's supposed to be the kid that goes along with the same idea as the small, the wimpy one. And then the other way of looking at it,
Nerd.
nice one. The one that no one cares about. When it says, what's he like? It's not important. Who came up with him? What's the point? The idea that he's either this weak person that no one cares about, or the fact that he's weak in self-confidence and doesn't care about himself, thus no one cares about him. So what does Triangle Man do to him?
Beat him up.
Nice one. The other one that Triangle Man beats up when it says Person Man. This one's a little tougher, but Person Man also represents two types of students here. And what type of student would Person Man be? Mangano? Why a hobo? You're on the right track. But what kind of student would that be then?
Not all hobos in the garbage.
I know.
Not nicely done. The kid that doesn't have a whole lot going on. The kid that's poor. And so that's one that he represents. The kids who don't have anything at home as far as money-wise. The other one that he would represent, and that goes to where it says hit on the head with a frying pan.
Oh,
Ethan?
Maybe stupid.
Not stupid, but a good guess. Schultz?
abused when he was.
Nicely done. That comes from a home from abuse. And so that's where you have the fact that either the fact he's abused at home or the fact that we're dealing with the fact that he doesn't have a good home. Not a good home life, one way or another. What does Triangle Man do to him?
Beat him up.
So in other words, Triangle Man is only beating up two characters, and both of them because they feel like they don't have a whole lot of,
Oh, I know who you like.
no, I wasn't going for life, it was
Popularity.
Money.
when you feel good about your,
Self-confidence.
yeah, the self-confidence, they don't, everyone has self-confidence. Which brings us to the one character that doesn't get beat up. And Blunt, which character doesn't get beat up?
Universe Man.
Universe Man. What student would Universe Man be here at school? Or at least who's it supposed to represent? Delucia?
A leader.
Nicely done. Where you have a kid that has a whole lot of self-confidence. It could be popular, but it doesn't have to be. It's the kid that is, well, how does Universe Man treat other people who aren't as good as him? It tells you in the poem.
He's saying.
Schultz?
He's nice to them.
Nice one. It says that he's usually nice to smaller men, meaning the people who are not as big as him. It's the fact that he's friendly, outgoing, has lots of self-confidence. And so who does Triangle Man not pick on?
Universe Man.
Because why?
Because he's
self-confident.
And who does he pick on?
Triangle Man and Particle Man.
It is Triangle Man.
I mean, the other guys.
And why does he pick on Particle Man and Person Man?
Because they're nerds and
No self-
They don't have any.
They don't have-
self-
So according to the poem, how do
don't
you
have any
prevent the bullies from picking on you then?
if you have no
Having
self-confidence.
self-confidence.
That's where the self-confidence comes in. The idea, the fact that the bully, it's the same thing with life, bullies pick on the people they feel that they're bigger than. Either because they feel that they're weaker than them in some way, or that they're an overall bigger person. Christy,
Couldn't Particle Man be female? Kind of.
the idea of an emo kid is one that usually feels like an outcast, doesn't connect to other people. That same idea of the
Don't
nerd
they
thing.
cut nobody?
That would definitely be queer. The idea of they're different than the others. Davies,
What about Powerful Man?
well, is that where we're going through the Universe Man?
Yeah.
Where it goes through is powerful. Let's say Happy Land, powerful man. I'm guessing that's referring to him. It's capitalized at the beginning of the line. I think it's just referring to him being a powerful kid. Good question. Yeah.
The person like in I'm Nobody.
Nicely
He's
done.
he's like the
Nicely done. Would connect to that same idea, the idea of being I'm nobody, where you feel you want to sort of hide in the background. It's weird how all those poems sort of connect together with that overarching. By the way, if you have access to online stuff, both of these, anytime that you take a poem and you put it to music, what do you get? A song. Both Richard Cory and Particle Man have been turned into songs. And if you have the magical world of this thing called the internet, you can find both of them, and on YouTube. You can find both of them on there.
Can you post it on YouTube or the song?
If I remember, I can see what I can do.
On what song?
Tomorrow we have a poetry review activity. Those of you who have not turned stuff in for me, you don't get to play my fun game. Those of you who have do get to. If you want to have reference to Annabelle Lee, what do you have to bring?
Your big book or
Bring
something that
your-
you got online.
And Annabelle Lee is one you can find online. Pretty easy to do it that way.
Can I do one flip ring and then?
Good change that. Let me go ahead and turn this off first.
Hi, camera.
Since it's pretty much the end of class, can I check that?